I'm not saying the sky is falling here. This was one game back from NWSL play, or Olympic break and whatnot. We're back at it. And so, not to take anything away from Washington, dude, they're a great freaking team. We knew that. We knew this would be hard. And they have been they've been winning good games and are now challenging Orlando up there. So it's if we're not careful though, we could very much drop to fourth because Gotham's a single point behind us.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
What is up, you sexy people? Welcome to another episode of Currently on No Other Pod. It's the most beautiful faces in the NWSL podcasting world. Daniel Kooser here with Christopher Wright. Chris, my man, smile for me. How you doing?
You got to put me on the spot. I mean, I like how you started off a podcast with compliments. I don't know why, but it's a positive start, and we're going to need it here.
You think people listening don't like to be called sexy? Everyone likes to be called that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Man, oh man. Folks, thank you for tuning in after a heartbreaking weekend of Kansas City Current soccer. We're going to break it all down for you today. We will share our lamentations and hopefully bounce back ideas and everything like that. So before we get started, make sure you've left us those 5-star ratings and reviews. Apple Podcast, Spotify, help people find the pod. So, Chris, before we get after it, I don't want to recap this game yet because we got some miscellaneous shit to talk about. And you know what I'm talking about. So, where do you want to start with the three items we have to cover today before the match?
Let's get the Lauren one kind of out the way.
Throw them up for Lauren. We hardly knew you. We didn't see you play a whole.
Yeah, scored a goal. Contributed to that record. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And who's now being transferred to Atletico de Madrid, a free transfer, but we also receive additional compensation as part of any future transfer of the Brazilian international. So, I mean, we kind of alluded to this in an episode, I believe. We do a lot of podcasting. I sometimes forget what we say or didn't say. But I'm pretty sure we spoke about the rumors about this, and especially since Atletico Madrid was in town and they could probably have like face-to-face meetings with her. Like, how often does that happen in the international soccer world where you can actually sit down and talk to the player that you'd like to acquire, Well,
not only just talk to her, and I'm not sure if she was back because, she was obviously at the Olympics with Brazil in the final, but their staff could talk to our front office, right? Their front office could talk to ours, kind of hammer that out. It really seems like the Current are doing a significantly better job of doing what's right for the player. She was not getting the playing. She's 23, I believe. She's not getting the playing time she wanted earlier in her career. I don't blame her, right? You come over, you have high expectations, a new stadium, training facility, all that good stuff, and you don't really get on the field, right? And you're a national team center back, right? So for Brazil. So I don't blame her. It's kind of a bummer, but they did what's right for the player. A free transfer, I thought was pretty generous, but she's 23, so you have to imagine there might be some future transfers for her.
Exactly. Wrap your mind around this. We had a 23-year-old starting Brazilian Olympic defender on our bench. She only saw the field for us 5 times, and only 2 of those were starts. So, I mean, how good of a team, how good of a squad do you have to have a Brazilian starting defender on the bench?
Right.
Pretty wild.
Pretty wild. And I don't blame her. It's kind of it's a bummer for the team, but at the end of the day, it's business, and she gets
players want to play, dude. Players want to play.
That's why Lavoisier left, right? Like the downside of having this type of depth is you can't make everybody happy in terms of playing time. So these things are going to happen, but you know what? We're going to reload. right? We're going to reload and we're going to be okay.
I mean, when you pick up someone like Alana Cook, who we've seen get consistent minutes since she started playing early August, you just kind of see the writing on the wall in that, okay, when someone comes in, someone's got to go. And like I said, Lauren, we hardly knew you. Thank you for your 5 appearances, and wish you nothing but the best in Spain. So,
and last thing too, that this does really, in my opinion, reflect very well of the front office. That if a player comes over and they're not getting the playing time, the team will do what's right by them. And I think that's something future players might look at when trying to make a decision on where to go. If one team is going to kind of lock down their rights and not give them much playing time, and then one team will be open to them being in a different and better situation, it gives the current a little bit of an advantage in that regard.
Absolutely. Moving on, another bit of roster changing news. We're just signing more forwards. I'm just, it's so shocking to me. We have signed South African forward Hilda Majaya. Do you want to take a shot at that?
I do not. You nailed it, buddy.
She looks happy to be here. I don't know a ton about her. She was on. She'll be on loan though, right? From Liga MX Femenil Club Mazatlan.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool, since we were just in a competition with these Liga MX Femenil teams, and you're able to watch a lot of these players and take note. And you're like, well, I think we're kind of interested in that piece. I think she'd do well in our squad. Let's reach out and see what's possible. And they did, man. And she's eager to play in the NWSL and against some of the greatest players in the world, she says.
I mean, the trend of African players coming over, and having a lot of success with Chawinga, Banda, and many others. I mean, you're seeing teams take these players a little more seriously. You put them in a situation to see what they can do, and it's something that I think is it's kind of long overdue, right? Like giving these African players a real shot at this league and putting them in positions to succeed here. So I really like it, man. Nickname is the breadwinner,
Breadwinner.
It doesn't get much better than that.
Because of her proficient goal scoring ability. Winning the bread. South African national team, man, scored South Africa's second ever FIFA World Cup goal last year against Sweden, and then scored in South Africa's upset win over Italy on the final day of group stage play in that tournament. So that clinched them a spot in the World Cup knockout stage for the first time in South Africa's history. Pretty cool.
Wow.
She's had some pretty cool soccer moments, She earned player of the tournament in 2020's COSAFA Women's Championship and hosted the trophy with Banyana Banyana. I don't know what that is, but it sounds fun to say. She scored the most goals in the competition, man. So she's got some accolades here, and I think it's nice to, I don't know, never too bad to have another striker. Are we going to play? What do we do? Play 5 strikers and go a couple midfielders and a couple defenders? What are we doing here?
We could have done it this past game, right? We needed some firepower there.
Listen, this was like, dude, I remember like a year or so ago, maybe a couple of years, we were talking about how we need more midfielders, and we were just joking because we had oops all midfielders,
Yeah.
And now it feels like we're just oops all forwards.
Well, half of them got hurt that year, so we need a little bit of everything.
Very true. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see her fit into this team, see what happens.
And we can acquire on a permanent basis. The team has the option, so just kind of see how things go in 2024 and kind of what shakes out with Bia and some of these other players.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Moving to our next item before we take our break here, NWSL and NWSL Players Association agreed to a historic collective bargaining agreement 2 years ahead of expiration. So it expires in 2026. And here we are, man. There are some things. This new bargaining agreement extends the current contract 4 more years to 2030. It grants players unprecedented choice and control over where they play. It's increasing their compensation, benefits, maternity leave situations, staffing, charter flights, facilities, year-round schedule. It's pretty interesting, man. And I kind of want to hit some highlights with you and kind of get some color commentary from you. So, the minimum salary was raised for one. Sounds like a net positive. The annual salary cap is will almost double by 2030. I believe I read. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think was it $8 million? I think was the max cap in 2030, which I think a couple of years ago was like 1 million or something. So to kind of see where there might be,
here you go, 3.3 in 2025 to 5.1 in 2030, with an expectation of further increases based on the revenue sharing model and incentives and revenues, all that stuff.
But I dig it, man. I think, was it Kristen Hamilton years ago? She went on record and did an interview. I think she was making like $26K or something.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and people are like asking for autograph and like, it's just crazy how they can be treated like a professional athlete, but make so little. So the fact that the PA and the, and the league and everybody in the Players Association came together years early to get this done. No union does that, right? No league does that. So it's really cool to see these players and everybody come together for the greater good.
Uh-huh.
And I think you're going to see a happier player, happier team, happier league. And it's going to be much more enjoyable for the viewer.
Agreed. Some big things, man. I mean, this is the big one here for me. They're eliminating the draft and future expansion drafts and granting unrestricted free agency, guaranteeing all contracts, all trades, intra-league or interleague transfers require player consent.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we'd like to trade you. What do you think about that? Also, if I'm a player, I think I'm going to be like, you want to trade me? Okay, I guess I'll get traded. Like, I'm not going to stay here. It's like being in a relationship and someone wants to break up with you and you're like, no, you can't break up with me. like how that sounds so toxic. Here, sign these divorce papers. I will not. We are staying married. What?
I mean, you think of like, and I keep taking it back to Kansas City Current specific players, but you think about Lynn Williams, who got traded draft night, really without any idea was going to happen. And then you have Amy Rodriguez got traded for Kristen Hamilton and Haley Mace, literally a couple days before we played them. They just swapped jerseys and played each other. Wild. But
and these other players, we've heard things of them getting traded, and like CeCe Kaiser was like, I had no idea this was happening, and was Loera one too? I can't even remember now.
Yeah, she was one, and then I can't remember her name, but she played for San Diego. She was one of the veteran players who, under the CBA, was an unrestricted free agent, signed with San Diego. That's where she chose to go, and then the next year she was chosen in the expansion draft.
Wow.
So like it goes against the entire purpose of what that was built for. So the fact that players now have a say on where they go, and think about this. This is going to make this league significantly more attractive to international players. Nobody wants to come to LA. If you have a player in England who wants to go to LA and then they get traded to Houston, like that's going to prevent any international top player from coming over. Now they have control as to what they, their own journey, their team, what they want to do. I think this is really going to open the doors for international talent.
See, the league is getting a taste of international talent, and they're like, whoa, we need to make this accommodating for that international talent. Let's figure something out here. There's no limit for an individual player's maximum annual salary. The league minimum will more than double, dude. Next year, the league minimum's $48.5, And in 2030, the minimum will be 82.5. So 82,500, which is, pretty great. Pretty low there right now at the minimum. But I just love that there's no maximum. You got a player who's the star, you pay him. You give them the money. You know what I mean? That's interesting. You got Chwinga fighting for the Golden Boot right now. You pay that woman.
I like it. I'm a big fan of the NFL model, right? You have a cap. You can't go over the cap. You can pay Mahomes or whomever as much as you want, but, you still got to build a roster with the rest amount of resources you got. It's going to, teams are going to have to make some tough decisions. But at the end of the day, the more money that's invested in these teams in this league, the more money the players get. So
100%.
And if you have teams that are struggling, like, I'm not trying to pick on Houston, but, Houston is not exactly a city I would go to, is a top destination as an international player, right? But that money will speak, man. That money will talk, and they could get paid and come there and bring maybe a whole new energy to that team. And prior to this CBA, that was really not as much of a thing because they don't have control over their own player rights.
Yeah. And dude, you think it gets hot here? Houston gets hot and swampy, and like their power grid can fail and shit. It's just, it sounds crazy. I don't like being hot, my man.
Me neither.
These end of season competition bonuses will double their current value starting in 2027. We're talking like the Shield winners, championship winners, best 11, rookie of the year, midfielder, defender, goalkeeper, golden boot. NWSL's MVP award will quadruple its compensation bonus. So, wow, that's neat. And as I kind of alluded to, there'll be parental leave and child care benefits, physical therapists, sports scientists, mental health, massage therapists, all sorts of that stuff. All falls under one category of having these licensed professionals on hand.
So you tell me players are being treated like professional athletes now? Is that what we're getting to?
Pretty wild. What an age we're living in. Dude, it's limited amateur player agreements are contemplated in the new CBA, and restrictions on the preseason start date and that of the NWSL Championship have been eliminated. And the maximum number of games that may be played annually has increased. Interesting to me. And lastly, charter flights are allowed for up to 6 legs within the league season. And additional charter flights are required in a variety of scenarios to ensure player health and safety requirements are satisfied. We know they fly coach a lot of the times, and to have charter flights at least be there in a portion of things is pretty cool. Especially if you have a tight turnaround for certain things.
Especially if you're playing in, I think, like North Carolina, Kansas City does not have a direct flight, right? You have to ping pong around to get to your destination. So, places like that or situations like that to me makes perfect sense. And I mean, I can't believe that it's taken this long for that to even be a thing. I remember the Current got fined a year ago or a year and a half ago for a charter flight.
Yeah.
And then now they're allowed to do it. It's pretty silly.
Dude, it's so silly. I mean, it just reminds me of like certain rules elsewhere. Like you might get fined for taunting or celebrating in the NFL or something. And you see a guy do the exact same thing years later. And it's like, that's okay now because he didn't use the ball in the celebration or the goalpost or something. And it's just, well, I hate that. I want to be treated the way other people are. I want equality and all that.
Well, it's like, Tyreek Hill gave the peace sign on a touchdown and he would get flagged and fined for it. I'm not about fined, but he'd at least get, penalized for it. But then NFL would put that all over promotional marketing. Yes, and it's just
such bullshit.
It's ridiculous. But I'm glad the NWSL came to their senses on this.
For sure. Cool, man. But one thing real quick, dude, I got to ask you and everyone else, would you like an extra $500? Why wouldn't you? Go to BlueWirePods.com/survey and complete the Blue Wire audience survey about you and your podcast listening habits for a chance to win a $500 gift card. By the way, guys, this survey will help create a better advertising experience for audiences and in turn help this show. That's BlueWirePods.com/survey, where all you have to do is answer some simple questions for a chance to win $500. Make sure to read the full terms and disclaimer, plus complete the survey for a chance to win. BlueWirePods.com/survey. The link is also in the show notes of this episode. So go do that, buddy. I'm sure maybe we'll win it and put it back into this pot.
Absolutely. There was a couple of interesting additional tidbits here for the CBA. So we have the elimination of the draft, man. What's your thoughts on the draft? Just poof, gone.
I mean, I know you're upset. You were a draft, you're not a draft dodger. You're very much into it, man. You think it grows the game, and they must disagree with you. That them and the players must feel like, doesn't really grow the game. And I disagree. I feel like it does.
I've come around. I've always been a big draft fan, like NFL, NBA, college sports. I've always been a big draft guy. I enjoy it. I don't know why, but I enjoy it. But I think this would really help the league grow. It does add some kind of additional challenges, but in terms of allowing players to go where they want, allowing players to kind of work up through systems, you're going to see more Claire Huttons, more Alex Pfeiffer type situations. I imagine the minimum number of youth players are going to be expanded, I would imagine. And there's a lot of players who left for Europe or left for Mexico because they didn't want to deal with the draft. Katarina Macario went to Europe. Maya Fischel went to Mexico. They just didn't want to deal with the draft and have no say over where they go, and I don't blame them. So that's going to be interesting. And another kind of odd aspect to it is, you're going to see, I think you can really see teams have partnerships with local areas. So why would the Current not have a little extra incentive in KU or Missouri soccer, women's soccer, and have an advantage there. So it's going to be kind of interesting how those things play out, especially with the, NIL money. How does that work? If there's, no draft, teams could essentially funnel money into NIL and have certain advantages with players and others. So that's going to be interesting. But ultimately, I think this whole CBA gives the players a lot of flexibility and freedom over their own decisions. And I think it's a good thing. It's a little bit of an adjustment, but it's certainly a good thing in the end.
For sure. I feel that, it feels like it's good with Michelle Cooper's there, man. And Claire Hutton's getting minutes. It's important in that sense. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the game's going to change and it's going to get equal for everybody. I mean, just see what happens, man. A lot of interleague stuff and all that.
Also, it's a little hypocritical too, to have free agents being able to, choose where they go and have consent over trade, but not if you're drafted.
Yeah.
Because you're drafted, you don't have those rights. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm glad they did what they did. And then a couple of additional tidbits with the CBA is that there are some Kansas City Current players who are going to be, free agents in this offseason. So Elizabeth Ball, Vanessa DiBernardo, A.D. Frant, Hamilton, Michelle Prince, Schultz, our German keeper, Desiree Scott, Jordan Silkowitz, and Mallory Weber. They are on the list of 88 names that the NWSLPA released. So, our team might look slightly or significantly different next year. One player I did not see on there was Alana Cook, which you think she would have been.
Yeah.
Maybe there is some type of agreement we're unaware of at this moment, but her name's not on that list.
Okay. Good. Thanks for pointing that stuff out.
Yeah.
Hey, want to take a quick break real quick. We good on CBA stuff? Anything else?
I think we got it.
Cool. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to recap that game, so hang on.
We appreciate you supporting KC Sports Network by listening to our podcast. You have helped us become the highest-ranked Chiefs podcast network in 2022 and 2023. And don't forget about our daily Substack newsletter, the best written analysis you can find on the Chiefs straight to your inbox every day. kcsn.substack.com.
With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. So you can say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plan's jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at just $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and limited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you're worried about keeping your phone number or all of your existing contacts, Mint Mobile has you covered. So ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for just $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/KCSNKCC. That's mintmobile.com/KCSNKCC. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/KCSNKCC. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Listen up now. I'm mad. And I'm mad because we lost first place to Orlando. We did. We dropped. And now we've lost second place to Washington Spirit. And boy, we didn't just lose on Sunday. We got smacked in the mouth. Just pelted with goals. I don't like that. We've been very good defensively, and I got bones to pick, man. I feel very
humbling. It was very humbling. It was, we talked about it last week. Let's just escape with a road point. We'd be happy. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think we could get all 3, like, deep in my core. But I was happy with the road point, and buddy, that did not happen.
No, it didn't happen. And it's not like we didn't put out a freaking lineup to get it done. I mean, your top 3, Dabinya, Chwinga, Cooper. Okay, they've done the thing before. This isn't new. Midfield, DiBernardo, Labonta, Hutton. Those are our girls. Get it done. Back 4, a little, it's always kind of changing. I feel like our defense is always changing. And you got Ellie Wheeler, Balasagar Peterson, Alana Cook, and Haley Mace. And then, of course, Franch in goal. So what do you think these goals that we got scored on us directly correlate with our ever-changing back line?
I'm going to be honest. I prefer to have Izzy in there over Ellie Wheeler.
Yeah, probably.
I'm a little slightly confused as to why that is the situation.
Izzy was available. She was on the bench.
Yeah. Maybe she's just dealing with a little bit of a knock, so she's available. She could play, but maybe they're just trying to give her a little extra time. But I mean, Cook and Balasagar right now are our best center backs to me. But the rotation of outside backs is a little. I don't know if it's a little much, but still does not explain a 4-1 drumming. Just frustrating, man. It's we were pissed off that we lost to Orlando. We lost first place, mad about that. The whole team was upset, bulletin board material, all that good stuff. Absolutely dominated, our international competition throughout the Olympic break. And then, confidence was on high, spirits were on high, won some hardware, and then to come out just flat. And when you watch, if you take a look at the XG, and I'll look it up in a moment, we were significantly better. They scored a lot of goals in situations they should not have scored. And sometimes that happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, it just wasn't fun. I was so excited to watch a little morning footy. I had rehearsal at 1:00, so to watch this game at 11, I felt pretty good. I didn't have to leave till 12:30. And I didn't have fun watching it. I was like, hey, I'm ready to have some fun. And I did not have fun. I was like, this is how I'm spending my morning right now. They never lost the lead. Vlatko says about this game, every loss hurts, but this team in some ways needed a little bit of adversity. Obviously, we didn't want to lose, but if this is the adversity we need to come out of, it's a great test for us. Now we have a chance next week to showcase where we're at and how we're going to get back from this. Great words, Vlatko, you inspirational son of a gun. Makes me feel good because, you think we'd come out of this and whoop the crap out of North Carolina this weekend.
Yeah, Taking a look at the game here, and I want to recap it, but I don't because it's just kind of painful. You almost want to forget and move on, right? Like on to the next. But Paige Mateer dribbled down that side and really was just kind of unchallenged. Nobody really stepped up. Nobody really kind of.
She ran the length of the pitch, dude.
Yeah. Ellen Wheeler kind of like let her by. Like, to me, a lot of this sums up just somebody's waiting for somebody else to step up, right? It's like you bracket a wide receiver and you expect somebody to, be over the top because you got the underneath part of that route. There's nobody over the top. Like, that communication was not there. She just came in, took that shot and put it right in the side of the net. Great shot, by the way. But I still think France should have got that one.
I got the highlights right here, man. I mean, she's dribbling at Balasager, and Balasager doesn't step to her at all. She lets her come at her, and all she does is cross Balasager over, who now has to, swivel her hips to go the other way. And before she can even stick a leg out to block this, it goes into the net. Now, do I think France maybe should have had this one? Yeah. I mean, the margin for error was pretty tight. So that's upsetting too, but Balasager got owned in this moment, in my opinion. I know you say she's our best center back we have, but she did not show it here.
Yeah. One of the best we have. But yeah, the whole thing sucked. The whole thing was frustrating. It should have never even got to that point as well.
Watch the highlights. We just got people standing around watching.
Yeah.
Like, Balasager will get her. Alana Cook's back here with no one to guard. Ellie Wheeler's out on the wing thinking that this lady's going to pass it out on the wing for some reason. That's not a thing.
And Wheeler's a high-effort player, so it's kind of odd that, she was not back in front of the, And Mateer's their outside back. Like, she just took the ball the length of that side and scored. So that's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. Incredibly embarrassing. And then, not long later, dude, a freaking bad pass happens. Just a horrible pass from Michelle Cooper, yeah?
Yeah.
Just kicks it to a black jersey. Just, here you go, take it and go. And the two defenders have got to be running back like, you son of a bitch, Michelle Cooper. Like, just mad. Because now they're on the front foot, dude. And it's 2-on-2. They kick off the ball and slot it past an extended leg of France. Too easy. 14 minutes in, 2-0. Too easy.
We're away.
Yeah.
And you have a little bit of that confidence that, we're a high-scoring team. We got a lot of firepower. It's not over, right? That's kind of my mindset. Let's get one back before half. Or if we can, level it out. That's, there's high expectations there, but let's just get back in it. That's what I really wanted at this point. But come halftime, man, it was still 2-0.
Still 2-0. Didn't get one back at all. And you know what? We beat ourselves in these moments. These 2 goals, mistakes. I mean, dude, you think Michelle Cooper didn't go home and start practicing weighted passes like that? Like, how do you misdo that? I don't understand. It just wasn't enough, dude, because they had another one coming, not 5 minutes into the freaking second half, and it took a deflection, mind you. So yeah. It really wasn't much of a shot, but took a deflection, and Trinity Rodman's prancing around like she meant to do that. Like, come on. You didn't. It deflected over France into the side netting, whatever. But no shade thrown at Trinity Rodman. If she was on my team, I'd be a huge fan.
I love Trinity, but the deflection.
In this moment, I hate her.
Yeah.
Yes. She swooped her hair like this, and it's like, it took a deflection. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, I can't.
Then again, if she was on my team, I would be all over that. Meant to do that, flip that hair, turn that into a t-shirt. I'd be all for it.
If she's on my team, it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm so mad, and she could go to hell. But she's such a high-class player, dude. I mean, she had a great Olympics, too, and we all know, the gold medal match and everything. She's a gold medalist. What a time to be alive for her.
Yeah.
So it's 3-0. I feel pretty confident in the 50th minute of this game that it's just kind of done. That it just doesn't feel like we're going to get this done, right? Were you feeling pessimistic and scrolling on your phone?
I was pretty pessimistic. It just kind of felt like this is one of those games, just nobody get hurt. Let's just take the knockdown, right? Take the slug, the punch in the face, and then we'll just, get healthy in another day, kind of a thing.
Smart.
But it wasn't quite over, man. Chawinga is always going to be hunting. She's always out there.
Yeah. Dabinia plays an excellent through ball to Chawinga at all times. It's always so good, man. And she just cuts right through him, dude. One-on-one opportunity, puts it on the board, man. Like, just these two defenders were all over her, and all she had to do was just beat them. And I got to tell you, it's pretty easy for teams to shut us down offensively. I feel they're gonna get a game plan. They're gonna just buckle in, especially when you're up 3-0, and make it pretty difficult, man, for Chawinga to get anything. They're gonna body her up, and I'm surprised she stayed on sides for this one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I like her toe poke there at the end. Like she has an unusual finish. A lot of times she'll outside the foot, which I love. I'm a big outside the foot shot connoisseur myself. But I think she, the toe poke was the right call. She didn't have a lot of space or time, man, and then she
sniped it. That margin of error was very small, much like their first goal. So, it's nice to see her extend her goal scoring numbers. She's in that golden boot race. I think that's very cool.
I think she's ahead now. I think she's in the lead at the moment.
Okay, let's go. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of her, man, and I think I don't want to. I'm not saying the sky is falling here. This was one game back from NWSL play, or Olympic break and whatnot. We're back at it, and so not to take anything away from Washington, dude. They're a great freaking team. We knew that. We knew this would be hard, and they've been winning good games and are now challenging Orlando up there. So. It's if we're not careful, though, we could very much drop to 4th because Gotham's a single point behind us at 4th place. Don't like that. How the mighty have fallen, that sort of thing, right?
Well, I think the first half of our season was easier than the second half. So things are going to get pretty interesting.
Jericho made her club debut.
Yeah.
Became the first Kenyan to appear in the NWSL. Was in there last 25 minutes, had 2 shots, nothing really too crazy. But of course, 73rd minute, Washington Spirit were like, yeah, we really want to win by 3. This 2-goal lead, it's not working for us. And sure enough, they get a final goal. So I like I said, man, the sky's not falling. It's okay. If you were going to lose to someone, losing to Washington Spirit was the one. But the first 2 goals of theirs, bullshit. I'm mad about. Last 2 goals, pretty quality goals. I'll give it to them. I mean,
what makes me mad about the last one, by the way, is that ball was just kind of deflected out there. Santos and Cooper just kind of went up for a header, right? Just kind of casually, and the rest of the team just react lackadaisically with little urgency and just kind of half-heartedly stepped up and she just put it home, man. So it really just at that point, it was kind of like who wanted it more in that moment, right? Like who wanted it more in that, 5-10 second span of time. And it was
the ball and the defenders don't even really close her down.
Yeah.
Alana Cook kind of stands there. And I don't really understand. I'm not a professional player. I don't know. But they didn't really put a body on her,
And Cooper kind of but the ball took a bounce favoring Santos. Cooper didn't really charge back and challenge. So it's just one of those days or one of those games that you just, things didn't go your way. They outworked you, man. They outworked us. So regroup.
I'm one of the biggest Michelle Cooper supporters. I'm a big fan of seeing her get this consistent playing time. She's a threat on the wing. But every now and then she makes these kind of mistakes where you're like, oh yeah, she hasn't been in the league very long. Second year, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, there are those mistakes will happen. She's not a rookie, but rookie mistakes.
Well, there was a play. I can't remember which game it was. I think it was Houston during the tournament with the Mexican teams. And I think it was Yuki Nagasato. Anyway, Cooper had the pass. She put it right up the middle. And then the Houston player just picked it right off. Like, it was just a bad pass up the middle. And then she scored from outside the box. And it reminded me a lot of that. It was, you can't do that in this league. The margin for error is so slim. You gotta just get rid of it, do something else, but don't put it right back in the middle of the box.
Agreed. Looking forward, man. I mean, we lose this one, and it's fine. It's our first road loss. We have yet to lose on the road. So
2 losses all year. That's not bad at the end of the day. But
no, it's not bad. Washington Spirit have lost 4 games. They just haven't really drawn many games. They've drawn 1. So, but you look up at Orlando, they don't lose. They have not lost. They are a force, and they're the standard. They're that top tier, man, and that's where you want to be. You measure yourself against the best teams, and we've gotten beat by 2 of the best. So we've established a good 3rd place hold. We go to North Carolina on Sunday. So there's no bye week here, no time to regroup and think about your actions. It's 1:00 kickoff, CBS and Paramount Plus. North Carolina's sitting at 6th place, 25 points. That's 10 points behind us. They're not even, it's 9 points behind Gotham. So they're a little ways off. Before jumping into this though, dude, I always get excited. I always get excited and want to just move forward. And here's what I got next. My freaking OCD brain is nuts. Toast of the match. I've really struggled doing these Holiday Distillery toast of the match on a loss. I don't know who it would go to. And is it the easy one to go to Chewinga for the goal, or do you give it to? I don't know. What do you do?
I think I don't think there's a player more deserving than Chewinga. I just you can't pick out anybody else and say they did something truly exceptional over the course of the game.
Sure. Yeah. So Holiday Distillery toast of the match. Tim Chewinga, thank you so much. 360 vodka, 5 Farms Irish cream. She extends her
now the golden boot leader, man.
Golden boot shit.
That deserves the toast itself, right?
For sure. Thank you, producer Nick, or Chris, actually. You said that, for keeping us on track there.
It rarely happens.
Just take off.
It rarely happens. I'm usually taking off with you.
Hey, Jimmy took off last night when we recorded No Other Pod, and I go, hold on, Jim. We got toast of the match. So
must have been humbling for him in that moment as well.
He was like, oh yes. What do we expect from North Carolina, man? They've been, they're middle of the pack right there, right? There's 14 teams in this league. They're at number 6. So I don't know what to expect.
I mean,
they're pretty good on most days.
Yeah, we have success against them, man. I think we've played twice this year, and I think we've won both.
Just barely, though.
Barely. They're a tough team. They're a very tough team. They play everything close. Everything's really super competitive with them. We're going to their house now. So Cary, North Carolina is not when they're 5,000 attendance is not exactly a an extra man type of situation. But we still got to go get it done. Caroline is she's back. She played in the Olympics, but she did not play in this past game.
We've only played them once, by the way. And that was on at home on Mother's Day, 1-0.
Didn't we play them in the tournament or something? Or maybe I'm mistaken. I could be mistaken. Okay.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah, the semifinal of the Feminile Summer Cup, the 2-0 win. So we've got a little 3-0 aggregate going on against them this season, and it'd be nice to continue that shutout streak against them for sure.
But they got Casey Murphy. They have a good back line. They don't like to give Chewinga anything. They'll just get rid of the ball. They don't do anything stupid there. They make you beat them. Ashley
They're gonna make us get crafty.
Yeah. Sullivan is phenomenal. Biora's playing really well. Tyler Lucy's a veteran. Ashley Sanchez is always dangerous. Just a fraction of a moment, and she'll make it pay. I don't know if Caroline plays or not, but hopefully not this game at least. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough.
Away games are always tough, especially these dog days of summer, man. We're at the end of August. Fall is among us. So we had a little taste of fall the last few days where I was like, this makes me want to tailgate. It felt good. I was like, someone get the grill going. But this, it's still a little hot out there, so I can't imagine North Carolina's going to be too much better. But it's important to bounce back. I mean, we could potentially take back our second place spot depending on how Washington does in their matchup, which is against, oh God, I should have had that queued up, bro. Washington plays San Diego Wave at San Diego. So we'll see what happens. I try not to focus too much on the standings, but I can't help but be obsessed with it when we're up towards the top like this. It just becomes everything I want in this world when my MLS team is just trying to not be at the bottom, you know?
Well, we were there for a while, for a chunk of the season. We were the tippy top. So
I know.
To go from that to third is, I mean, they're good teams. So it's not like we're, done with any kind of chumps here. Gotham's right behind us, like you mentioned, with a point. And then there's a 7-point difference between them and Portland. But just real quick, taking a look at this last stretch of the season for us. North Carolina, then we play Utah, which is not too terrible. Then we play Orlando, and then the Spirit again, and then Gotham, and then Racing Louisville, who, got that last minute draw, who is very tough. They're always competitive. And then Bay FC. So we're about to hit a murderer's row here before too long.
It's not about how you start the season, bro. It's how you finish.
Yeah.
We are in the last 10 games of the season here. We still got that final for that Femenil Cup down in San Antonio. So that's something. But I think that, that 4 or 5 game stretch there, and then throw San Diego in there and then Gotham again. The rest of the season, with maybe the exemption of Utah and Bay FC potentially, everything can be pretty difficult here. Chicago Red Stars being our last game. So,
I mean, in that stretch, you're looking at, you exclude Utah. I mean, you're looking at, 3 top 6 teams, and then Racing, who's 8th. So
it's Gotham twice.
Yeah.
And Orlando and Washington Spirit back to back, dude. Those could be 6-point losses for us. I don't feel confident. I feel a little scared. I need them to piece it together and get solid again. I don't know if these people transferring in and people transferring out are kind of maybe messing with them, maybe messing with the flow, the cohesion a little bit. But I'm also confident that they can get it done, dude. Vlatko's going to put them to work this week and bounce back on Sunday.
If you're a glass half full kind of guy,
I'm not.
I know. But you can look at this like this is an opportunity to really throw yourself back up at the top of the table. If we can, beat North Carolina and Utah, then go to Orlando, win, be 3 points down, assuming they win their games, then beat Washington, then beat Gotham. I mean, we're really solidifying ourselves as a top 3 team ending this, this regular season. So it's scary, it's terrifying, but it's also an opportunity.
It's wild that, North Carolina Sunday, Utah next Saturday, Orlando the following Friday. So you're not getting full weeks between these games, and then Washington on Friday. And then you're back to a Saturday game. So it's
4 games in 20 days, man.
Yeah. Yeah, true. So I'm like I said, I'm a little worried. I do want to see us be dominant on Sunday so we can go into that Utah game and be dominant. And then when you go into Orlando, it's like, hey, look how dominant we've been. Be scared. Be afraid. You didn't smack us at our place. You didn't come in and kill us. but we're here to do the same thing to you.
You won off of a very odd penalty that was just a really odd random situation.
That game's 2.5 weeks away, and I could not have it more hypothetically circled on my schedule here. It's insane, but should never count out who's ahead of you, and that's North Carolina Sunday.
Yep.
Cool, man. Anything else you want to chat about today to the people?
No, I think that's it, man. Just ready to get back on track.
Awesome. We'll let you get back to it. To your day job, that is. Dude, I know there's a game coming up that I am able to attend, and I think it's that September 28th noon game against Gotham. I think I get to go to that one, which is amazing. I thought I was kind of booked with Jersey Boys performances all of September, but when I saw that game's at noon, I just got to go and not lose my voice. You know, it's going to be great.
Are you going to make it to the 20th, the Spirit?
That's a 7:00 game, so no.
Okay.
Nope, I will have a show that night, but I will see you, and I hope you don't sell your ticket for the September 18th SKC game. You know, I'm going to swing by, and I'm going to pick you up.
I will be there. I will be on the side of the road, my finger pointing to the side.
With my jersey in hand.
Yep.
You still got my jersey.
I do, yeah.
Classic. All right, man. Cool. Thank you all for being here. It means a lot to us that you tune in every week and listen to us. Also, I didn't mention yet, but we have a text line. We have the Mint Mobile text line, which you can text us at 913-407-6524. Your questions, your comments, your theories, your hot takes, your wild speculations, and we'll read them on the air. You know, have fun with us. Take part in the conversation. So thank you to people who have done that already. So hit us up, nootherpod@gmail.com. Hit us up on socials at nootherpod, at Dan Kooser, at Chris Wright 21. And we will talk to you next week. So let's go get a victory. KC Current. For Chris, I'm Daniel. Love you so much. Goodbye.